Imagine stepping back in time, seeing the real faces of history's legends with modern clarity. In this video, we'll bring you AI-enhanced recreations of iconic figures like Marguerite de Valois, Saint Francis of Assisi, and Margaret of Anjou. You'll see their old portraits, hear the powerful stories behind their lives, and then witness how they might look if they lived today. If you love history, art, or just want to experience the past in a brand new way, you won't want to miss this journey through time. Marguerite de Valois. The old painting of Marguerite de Valois shows her adorned in exquisite Renaissance fashion. She stands regally, draped in embroidered velvet and fine pearls, her sharp gaze revealing a woman accustomed to navigating the treacherous waters of court politics. Born in the 16th century as the daughter of King Henry II of France and Catherine de' Medici, Marguerite became Queen of Navarre and a pivotal figure in the French Wars of Religion. Her marriage to Henry of Navarre, later Henry IV of France, was intended to bridge the gap between Catholics and Protestants, but instead it became infamous for coinciding with the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre. Marguerite's life was one of resilience, intellect, and survival amid violence. In her AI reimagined portrait, Marguerite emerges with smooth, clear skin, lively eyes, and a subtle yet commanding smile. Her fashion remains opulent but updated for the modern era, reflecting the timeless charisma that made her a legend in both politics and literature. Saint Francis of Assisi. The ancient fresco of Saint Francis of Assisi depicts a humble figure clothed in a simple brown robe, barefoot and surrounded by animals. His face, thin and ascetic, shows both suffering and profound peace. Born Giovanni di Pietro di Bernardone in the 12th century, Francis was the son of a wealthy merchant, before renouncing all material possessions to follow a life of poverty and devotion. He founded the Franciscan order and became famous for his love of nature, humility, and compassion toward all living beings. He was canonized only 2 years after his death, his legacy enduring for centuries. In the AI modern rendition, Francis appears as a soft-spoken young man, his weathered skin now fresh but retaining the gentle expression of deep spiritual conviction. His robe is updated into minimalist earth-tone clothing, and a quiet forest backdrop pays homage to his timeless bond with nature. Maria Malibran. The old lithograph of Maria Malibran captures her mid-performance, hands raised dramatically, eyes alight with emotion. Her hair is piled high in intricate 19th century fashion, and her gown is lavish yet tasteful. Maria Malibran was a Spanish mezzo-soprano and one of the most celebrated opera singers of the Romantic era. Born in Paris in the early 19th century, she rose to fame rapidly, astonishing audiences across Europe with her powerful voice and captivating stage presence. Malibran was known for her fiery spirit both on and off the stage, and for breaking conventional expectations of women in her time. The AI recreated image breathes new life into her, with rich curls cascading naturally around her shoulders and an expression that blends fierce confidence with vulnerability. Her attire, though simplified, hints at her grandeur, and her poised stance reflects the magnetic pull she once exerted over packed opera houses. Atahualpa. The old colonial-era engraving of Atahualpa shows a stern figure adorned in traditional Incan royal garments, a woven tunic, elaborate headdress, and gold adornments. His face, although crudely interpreted by European artists, attempts to capture a solemn dignity. Atahualpa was the last sovereign emperor of the Inca Empire before its fall to Spanish conquistadors. In the early 16th century, he faced Francisco Pizarro's forces, and despite negotiating a massive ransom in gold and silver, was ultimately executed. His death marked the tragic end of one of the most sophisticated civilizations in the Americas. In the AI reimagining, Atahualpa is presented with the strength and pride deserving of his title. His features are sharp and regal, with deep-set eyes and high cheekbones. His headdress and garments are meticulously detailed, showcasing the immense artistry of the Incan people, while a proud, defiant expression on his face reminds viewers of a ruler who stood tall in the face of betrayal. Margaret of Anjou. The medieval illustration of Margaret of Anjou portrays a queen in heavy robes, holding a scepter and seated solemnly on a throne. The stylized depiction gives little hint of the fierce woman behind the title. Born in the 15th century, Margaret was Queen of England as the wife of King Henry VI and a central figure in the Wars of the Roses. She became known for her political acumen, tireless ambition, and battlefield leadership. As her husband's mental health deteriorated, Margaret fought relentlessly to preserve her son's claim to the throne, commanding armies and forging alliances. Though history often painted her as ruthless, she was above all a mother and queen forced into an era of brutal power struggles. In her AI-rendered portrait, Margaret appears as a strong yet composed woman in her late 30s, with intelligent, calculating eyes and a calm but firm set to her mouth. Her clothing is updated with elegant yet simple royal attire, a crown resting lightly on her brow, and the faint outline of a battlefield in the background symbolizing her tumultuous life. Suleiman the Magnificent. Old paintings of Suleiman the Magnificent often show a regal figure draped in luxurious robes and wearing an ornate turban that seems to tower above his head. These portraits, mostly created by European artists who never actually saw him in person, show him seated on an elaborate throne, a symbol of his enormous power. The paintings capture the aura of a man who ruled the Ottoman Empire at its absolute peak, overseeing a golden age of military conquest, architectural achievement, and legal reform. Suleiman, who ruled from 1520 to 1566, was not only a fierce conqueror but also a patron of the arts and a masterful legislator. Under his leadership, the Ottoman Empire expanded dramatically, stretching deep into Europe, North Africa, and the Middle East. He was also known for codifying Ottoman laws, earning him the title Kanuni, or the lawgiver. His personal life was just as remarkable. He was famously devoted to his wife Hurrem Sultan, breaking royal tradition to marry her. An AI reimagination of Suleiman today transforms him into a commanding yet approachable figure. The turban is replaced with a stylish modern head wrap, and his robes become a sharply tailored suit with Middle Eastern motifs subtly woven into the fabric. His eyes, intense and thoughtful, retain the wisdom of a seasoned leader, while his overall look would fit seamlessly into today's world of international statesmen. Catherine the Great. Paintings of Catherine the Great typically show a regal woman dressed in elaborate gowns embroidered with gold and decorated with a cascade of precious jewels. Artists often depicted her holding symbols of power, such as a scepter or an orb, emphasizing her command over the vast Russian Empire. Her portraits reflect a woman who was very conscious of her image and understood the importance of projecting strength. Born a German princess, Catherine rose to become Empress of Russia after orchestrating a coup against her own husband, Peter III. She ruled from 1762 until her death in 1796, overseeing a cultural renaissance in Russia. She expanded Russian territory, reformed the government, and corresponded with leading intellectuals of the Enlightenment. Despite facing criticism for her autocratic rule, she is credited with modernizing Russia and positioning it as a major European power. An AI-generated modern image of Catherine shows her as a poised and powerful leader, perhaps resembling a contemporary head of state. Instead of corseted dresses, she wears an elegant blazer and silk blouse with a simple yet commanding presence. Her face retains the sharp intelligence seen in her paintings, framed by neatly styled hair, ready to lead in today's geopolitical arena. Thomas Wolsey. Old paintings of Thomas Wolsey depict a rotund man in rich, heavy clerical robes, often with a crimson cap signifying his status as a cardinal. The art emphasizes his wealth and influence, portraying him with an expression of shrewd intelligence and quiet ambition. He is usually shown with religious or legal books, hinting at his immense control over both the church and the state during his lifetime. Wolsey rose from relatively modest origins to become the most powerful advisor to King Henry VIII of England in the early 16th century. As Lord Chancellor and a cardinal, he effectively ran the government for years, overseeing diplomacy, finance, and the church. However, his failure to secure an annulment of Henry's marriage to Catherine of Aragon ultimately led to his downfall and death in disgrace. Despite his tragic end, Wolsey remains a symbol of the incredible heights that political skill could achieve during the Tudor era. In a modern AI reimagining, Wolsey appears as a high-powered political consultant or top-level diplomat. Gone are the cumbersome robes. Instead, he wears a sharp three-piece suit, possibly accessorized with subtle religious insignia. His round, confident face conveys the same cleverness and drive, suggesting a man who could still maneuver expertly through the corridors of modern power. Catherine of Aragon. Paintings of Catherine of Aragon often show a solemn and dignified woman, dressed in deep reds and rich golds with heavy fabrics that speak to her royal Spanish heritage. Her portraits frequently feature religious symbols, underscoring her deep Catholic faith. The artists capture her strength and quiet sorrow, a reflection of her turbulent marriage to Henry VIII. Catherine, the youngest daughter of the famed Catholic monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella of Spain, was married to Henry VIII for over 20 years. She was deeply loved by the English people for her piety, dignity, and charity. However, her inability to produce a male heir set the stage for England's break from the Roman Catholic Church when Henry sought to annul their marriage. Catherine's steadfastness during this period earned her enduring respect even among her enemies. In a modern AI recreation, Catherine appears as a composed and resilient woman, perhaps a leading advocate for women's rights or an ambassador. Her fashion is updated with modest, powerful silhouettes, a tailored dress or formal suit. Her expression, serious yet compassionate, reflects a person ready to fight for what she believes is just, a timeless quality that would resonate even today. Chevalier d'Eon. The portraits of Chevalier d'Eon show an intriguing figure, sometimes depicted in military attire, other times in feminine dress, reflecting the complex and unique life story of this French diplomat and soldier. In the paintings, there's an ambiguity that captures the mystery surrounding d'Eon, who lived part of life as a man and part as a woman, challenging 18th century norms of gender identity. Born Charles Geneviève Louis Auguste André Timothée d'Eon de Beaumont in 1728, d'Eon served as a spy, soldier, and diplomat for France. After a celebrated career, d'Eon began living publicly as a woman, claiming to have been assigned female at birth. Whether Dion's gender identity was a matter of personal truth, political strategy, or both remains a topic of historical debate. Regardless, Dion's life has made a lasting impact on discussions about gender and identity. An AI reimagining of Chevalier Dion today presents a figure who is elegant, poised, and unapologetically authentic. The modern portrait blurs traditional gender lines, showing Dion in a stylish, androgynous fashion. Perhaps a tailored jacket with fluid, expressive accessories. Their confident gaze reflects a person fully in control of their narrative, a pioneer who would be celebrated today as a symbol of courage and individuality. History leaves us with paintings, sculptures, and faded pages, glimpses into the lives of those who shaped the world. But thanks to modern technology, we can now see these legendary figures with fresh eyes, bridging centuries in just a moment. From Marguerite de Valois' royal intrigue to Atahualpa's tragic courage, their faces and their stories remind us that the past is never truly gone. If you enjoyed this journey through time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we uncover more forgotten faces and untold stories from history.